Each year, almost 750,000 U.S. women between the ages of 15 through 19 become pregnant, and 2/3 of all teen pregnancies are between 18 to 19-year-olds. Today, my main claim is that the media in the United States is causing teen pregnancy to become widely accepted in today's society. I'll be supporting this through the supporting claims that reality and fictional shows portray that teen pregnancy is a way to get famous, and also that since the media is a leading role in educating the younger generation, that it should help teens realize that teen pregnancy is wrong. My first supporting claim is that reality and fictional shows portray teen pregnancy as a way to get famous. So shows on MTV like Teen Mom and 16 and Pregnant don't really show the real struggles of having a kid at a young age and being all alone. Kind of shows them kind of arguing about getting money from their parents. It doesn't really show the real struggles if you're really on your own without mom to support you, or if you're kicked out or stuff like that. Also, it also shows that teens are becoming pregnant at 16, and if you do that, you can land a spot on the show. So it's reported that you can make up to $60,000 on the show, and it also lands you a spot on tabloids, on magazines, on websites, and all. And every year, or every season of Teen Mom, they have auditions, and MTV looks for pregnant girls that have the most dramatized stories, and that will land them on the show. My second supporting claim is that since the media is a leading role in educating the younger generation, it should help teens realize that teen pregnancy is wrong. An article by Bruce Pinkeltona, he states that the United States has one of the highest rates of teenage pregnancy and birth in the Western industrialized world. And research indicates that the television and other mass media are important sources of sexual information for younger people. Since the media in our country is the one educating teens today, it should be educating them on how to prevent being pregnant at such a young age, instead of them exposing them of how the struggles of after it is. So basically they're sugarcoating being pregnant instead of showing the real struggles and showing how they should prevent it, showing more ways to use contraceptives, more ways to using birth control, condoms, and making a show instead of dramatizing it. Not enough articles and shows and magazines show the true side of being a teen mom, especially through music, television shows, and other media outlets. They talk about being pregnant is okay. They kind of dramatize it, glorify it, and then we only see kind of myths, and we don't see mostly facts. My main claim again is that we live in a society where it's okay to be pregnant at a young age, and it's becoming more accepting because of the media's exposure towards it.
All right, I like the start of the speech with the statistic talking about how widespread teen pregnancy is and the numbers that occur each year. 750,000, I think, is the number that you threw around. We never get a comparison, however, to the number of those teens who are pregnant who get on to television, and I think that might show that, in fact, the chances that those girls are getting pregnant because they think it's acceptable as a result of TV programming like, the MTV show that you mentioned, that might actually undermine your argument. So you show that there's a controversy here and that there's a big issue that we're talking about, but some of that also, I think, undermines the claim that you're making. One of the things that's important, especially when you're doing reasoning later on, is you want to, if you're trying to show that there's causality in this, then you need to show that there was a difference between before the shows were on, what was the teen pregnancy like? How did people feel about it? What was their attitude? And how has it changed since the shows have been on? Or, for example, you need to have some data from people who, in particular, were on the show that suggests that they were influenced by the desire to be on the show or having seen previously episodes of the show. I thought you had a pretty good layout of what the secondary claims were also. So structurally, you're doing okay there. And internally, I thought you signposted those points pretty well. The evidence, I think, is where you have some of the biggest problems, because you described the shows, but I don't hear any source citation on that. You're making very conclusionary statements about what happens on the shows, and the inference that anybody's influenced by that seems to be yours without any grounds for believing that it is true. So I think you need some stronger information on this point. That it reflects the way society feels, I think you might find that to be the case as opposed to creating the way society feels. That might be one of the arguments that the respondent will be talking about. There's not really any statistical data except for that opening information about the number of pregnancies. I think you could use some authorities who have criticized these kinds of programs. There are people in the media, psychologists, child development experts. I'm sure that they've offered criticism on those points, but I didn't hear any expertise. Like I said, it just seemed to come back to your criticism of the show, and I think that that's a little bit problematic. I thought at the beginning of the speech and through most of the speech you did a pretty good job making audience contact and speaking to folks. You only use half your time, so it does feel like it's a little bit underdeveloped. All right, thank you.